please subscribe my channel. That amount was my quiet proof that I had overcome the challenges as a single mother. Then one morning, I checked my banking app and everything fell apart. The joint savings account I shared with my grandmother for security showed a balance of $0. One withdrawal, $199,000. Approved by an authorized user, my grandmother. When I asked her where Emily's college money had gone, she just laughed. Thanks for paying for your aunt's big day. Then my grandfather called, sobbing. Before I continue, let me know where you're hearing this from right now. Your kitchen table? A parked car? Or maybe during a work break? Stories of Real Lives is right here with you. For most folks, money is simply numbers. For my grandmother, it meant control. We set up that joint account when I was 19, shortly after Emily arrived. She claimed it was for safety. If anything happens to you, I can protect Emily. She said I was young and worn out, and I was thankful, so I trusted her. Every dollar put into that account came with its own memory. Late night shifts at the clinic. Early mornings at a small diner that always smelled like overcooked toast. Holiday bonuses I saved instead of spending. Tax returns that went directly into the account rather than toward a break. While other families planned getaways, I added up costs for books and classes. While my grandmother hunted bargains on fancy purses, I budgeted for basic meals. I never missed a bill. I never used that money for anything personal. That savings wasn't for emergencies or shared family needs. It was strictly for Emily's education. But in our family, hard work was never praised, it was expected. Part 2. Hidden family patterns and unequal treatment. My younger aunt Lisa always seemed to need assistance. Help with rent, paying off debts, just a small loan. My grandmother called her sensitive, the youngest one who required extra care. I was supposed to manage on my own, and I did. Over time, my self-reliance turned into a reason to ignore my efforts. Since I always handled things, my hard work became invisible. It was taken for granted. When my grandmother chuckled about spending the money on a wedding I wasn't even asked to attend, I suddenly understood the habit. This wasn't a sudden panic or need. It was a sense of ownership. She didn't take it out of fear. She took it because she felt entitled to it. And that day, sitting in my car while my grandfather apologized with tears, I realized something life-changing. This wasn't an error to handle quietly within the family. It was a boundary already broken. I stayed in my car long after he ended the call, noticing the curtains in my grandmother's window twitch a bit, as if she was peeking to see if I had driven away. For the first time, my anger wasn't the explosive kind others imagine. It was calm clarity. As I thought back over my years, honestly, this issue didn't begin with the money. It started with habits. I was too exhausted to notice. Whenever I created stability, my grandmother found a way to shift it elsewhere. If I saved up, it turned into help for others. If I achieved something, it was treated as a group win. If I struggled silently, it showed I could take on even more. My dependability had been twisted into approval for more demands. That evening, I didn't break down. I didn't reach out to friends. I went home, started my computer, and laid out every bank record on the dining table. 18 years of additions, dates, figures, my own notes, extra hours, prize money, returns. Row by row, it revealed a truth my grandmother never thought I'd share with her. I highlighted the same phrase in old messages over and over, for Emily's school, for learning, for her tomorrow. I saw something shocking. My grandmother didn't just understand the purpose of the funds. She knew precisely how much effort it took me to save them, and she spent it all the same. Part 3. Gathering proof and seeking advice. That was when I stopped acting like a daughter hoping to be seen and began acting like someone gathering evidence. When Ethan got home, I shared it all with him. Not in a dramatic way, not defending myself, just the plain truth. He listened without cutting in. He didn't say to relax. When I was done, he said one thing that changed my view. She didn't grab cash. She took tracked money with a clear goal that was important. We planned together, not a big argument, not a family discussion, but clear steps. First, gather all records. Second, contact the bank. Third, consult an attorney. No big feelings, no early alerts. As we organized, another worry came up that I hated to admit. My aunt's husband worked in banking. If he assisted in transferring the funds, even a little, this wasn't only family disloyalty. It involved planning. By late night, the shock from before had turned into firm determination. Not dislike, strong resolve. My grandmother expected I'd yell, then forgive, and move on like before. She didn't see that when she joked about my daughter's future, she showed me a lasting truth. If I kept silent now, I'd be passing the same hard lesson to Emily that I learned too slowly. Before I go further, I want to hear from you. If this happened to you, what would be your first move? Comment 1 if you'd head directly to an attorney and secure the records. Comment 2 if you'd talk to family in person first before any legal action. 2 days later, I entered the bank branch where I'd saved for almost 20 years. The place smelled like clean floors and fresh paper. Normal, business-like, the sort where people trust that rules mean justice. Ethan sat next to me as I placed my folder on the manager's desk. I kept my voice steady. No shouting, no blame. This account started 18 years ago, I said quietly. In my name and my grandmother's. It was meant only for my daughter's college costs. I added nearly everything. I passed over a marked statement. $199,000 taken out in one go, without my approval. The manager straightened his glasses. From a legal standpoint, he said slowly, a joint account lets either owner take funds. I know, I answered. I'm not challenging the right to access. I'm recording the purpose. That statement shifted things. I requested the full withdrawal details, who handled it, what ID was shown. Part 4, facing the wedding. If it happened in person or remotely, and an official notarized note stating I was the main saver. After a pause, he agreed. The withdrawal was in person by my grandmother at a location where staff knew her well. I wasn't shocked. She liked being recognized. That same day, we saw an attorney named Karen. She listened fully, scanning my papers with careful attention. Your grandmother had legal rights to it, she said. My heart sank. Then she added, but that doesn't shield her from responsibility. Karen described the gap between access and purpose. Having permission didn't cancel the reason, and reason counts, especially when funds go to personal luxury instead of a child's needs. This could be a civil matter, she explained. Getting money back, unfair gain, possible extra compensation. I asked what I'd been dodging. Any chance for criminal steps? She thought carefully before replying. If proof shows hiding facts, secrecy, or help from others, like suppliers or relatives who assisted in shifting or hiding the money, it might go further. Then she asked a question that sped up my heart. Do you know exactly where it went? I nodded. A wedding soon. Karen's gaze sharpened. Perfect, she said. That provides strong advantage. High-end expenses with receipts and dates. A straight connection from your daughter's schooling to decorations, food, and entertainment. Courts dislike that. That night, I shared the full story with Emily. She didn't yell. She didn't blame me. She simply murmured she traded my dreams for a celebration. In that instant, I knew this wasn't about getting funds back secretly anymore. It was about ensuring the facts couldn't be hidden behind a happy event. The time before the wedding felt like being trapped in a room with building tension. Everywhere, reminders of the party appeared. Pictures of arrangements, location previews, outfit try-ons, posts about affection and kindness. I stopped family group messages. I hid many alerts, but details still slipped in. My grandmother never contacted me. Neither did Lisa. Their quiet said all I needed. They assumed I'd keep it private. With Karen's help, we created a clear sequence of events. Bank pulls, payments to suppliers, dates and totals matching perfectly. Then an email arrived. A flower shop shared a message chain easily. In it, my grandmother wrote, "No need to fret over prices, sweetie. Your niece's school savings is finally useful for something enjoyable." I read those lines until they lost meaning. That message became key evidence. At the same time, Emily shifted. She kept attending classes and finishing assignments. But one evening, I saw her removing college updates without reading them. "What's the use?" she said softly. "We can't pay now." That was when I quit shielding my grandmother from her actions' results. No invitation arrived for the wedding. Formally, Emily and I weren't part of it. Even so, I chose to attend, not to cause a scene or interrupt, but because it gathered everyone key in one spot. My grandmother, my aunt, her husband, wider relatives, all who gained from my quiet. I shared the plan with just three: Ethan, Karen, and my grandfather. When I told him, he worried. "You'll embarrass the whole group," he said. "She embarrassed my child," I replied steadily. "The key difference is I'll speak the truth." On wedding morning, I wore simple clothes, nothing showy that could seem like envy. As I placed the folder in my purse, I glanced in the mirror. For once, I didn't look like a daughter seeking equity. I looked like a mother ready to defend her kid. Part 5, results from legal steps. The location was stunning. Rows of white seats, twinkling lights, blooms all around. My grandfather met us near the door, looking weary with his tie uneven. "I'll speak up if questioned," he said quietly. "I owe you." The vows went by quickly. Cheers rose when the officiant declared them married. I applauded too, not for joy, but to note the shift ahead. I drove home with Emily that night quietly. The car carried scents of recent rain and faint scent. Her hand stayed clasped tightly. At home, Ethan prepared tea we hardly drank. Emily sat curled up, eyes puffy, voice quiet. "Is my tomorrow lost?" she asked. I shook my head. "Your tomorrow isn't a gift at a party," I told her. And it never was. Karen submitted the lawsuit 2 days after. We included all records, bills, and messages. Years of savings, one hasty pull, obvious purpose. My grandmother labeled it a mix-up. The court saw clear purpose. Settlement talks started. My grandmother suggested gradual repayment, no added cost. A proposal full of expectation. I passed one document over. A fresh account solely in my name. Emily as only heir at 21. No shared rights, no gaps, no reasons. She sold items she cherished. An extra vehicle, luxury purses, home value she boasted about. Each payment arrived in our new account steadily. Part 6, finding calm and securing tomorrow. Emily began browsing school sites again, cautiously, as if scared to believe. Months passed, and we visited her top choice campus. She held my hand and grinned. For the first time, it seemed possible once more. Certain truths only hit home when results follow. And some limits mean losing family ease, but gaining your child's security. If this tale touched you, drop a comment, like the post, pass it to someone who might benefit, and follow Stories of Real Lives for more tales of silent courage and personal strength.